Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK journey video. In this video I wanted to make an updated tier list and actually make it for ourselves rather than reviewing other tier lists which have been posted onto the internet, and I'm using afkjourneyguides.com tier list maker feature, and I'll leave a link to it in the description if you want to make your own tier list. But with that being said, I want to get pretty quickly into this because there are a lot of heroes to go through and to talk about, and I feel like now I've been playing since a few days after the global launch and playing daily, and we're now in the new season. We started it on May 10th, which was the earliest date, and we have progressed really far. We're one of the top rankers in AFK stages for our server. We are usually finishing in the top 5 of Supreme Arena, so we're also going to be looking at the PvP uses of these heroes, not only the PvE uses, and Dream Realm we've consistently been in the top 10, and I feel like again I have an idea of the meta comps and which heroes are the most important to be investing in. That being said, this tier list is going to be based on getting Mythic Plus to these heroes because that is when a hero unlocks almost all of his potential. Supreme Plus is also nice, but the Mythic Plus ability is really crucial on a lot of heroes. So especially the Celestial Hypogeans, you have to understand that these heroes are really good and going to be top tier when they are Mythic Plus, but before that they are not going to be as usable. So even if, for example, we have one of them in the S tier, they're not S tier out of the gate. They need to get Mythic Plus before they reach that potential. Okay, with that being said, we're just going to go in order of the heroes labeled here, starting with Scarlita. So Scarlita is, in my opinion, an S plus hero. Top tier hero because she is one of the best options on defense and offense for PvP. If someone has Scarlita built, they're usually running her on their non-seasonal defense, which says a lot, and even offense, because that's when you're only allowed to select one team of your top 5 best heroes. And in Supreme Arena, if someone has a Scarlita built, they will definitely be including it on one of their defenses. She provides shielding, she can help push with AFK stage formation in the early AFK stages of the new season, or not even that early, up until maybe 800s or 900s, you're using the Iron, Scarlita, Rainier, Arden, Florabelle team in order to push AFK stages. So she has great PvE uses. She also was really good in the Trial of the Abyss, and I'm sure in other game modes in the future where you need to kill really high health enemies, she is going to be really good. So for all of that, I think she's an S plus hero. It doesn't mean that you need to be building her, and in fact we're going to talk about the other Celestial Hypogeans, but she is not the top priority for your Celestial Hypogean hero, so let's just keep that in mind. Okay, so Diurnal I'm going to put in the S tier. Again, being a Celestial Hypogean, I don't think we can put them below S tier, because once they hit their Mythic Plus, they become insane. Like, if you have them, you're going to be running them on your offense at least, maybe on defense. So Diurnal is great for PvP, but that is his main use. He's also used in the battle drills, but battle drills is not as important of a mode to score highly in, because a lot of heroes do well there. And so his main use is PvP. And for non-seasonal offense for PvP, he's one of the best when he's really highly ascended. And even in Supreme Arena, he can be on defense and he can be on offense. So he's a fully PvP hero, but he is very good once fully invested in. But because he has no PvE uses, and honestly, like, if I were to choose between the two of these heroes, Scarlita is a rank above Diurnal because she is so flexible, and on defense she is better than Diurnal in my opinion. Like, I know you can make a very strong Diurnal defense, but Scarlita can fit in so many teams effectively on defense. So Burial, for the same reason, I'm going to put in the S tier. Again, just full disclaimer, I haven't tested Diurnal or Burial because I don't have them up to Mythic Plus, but I've seen video content of them. I have people in my guildmate who is the top of the server who runs Diurnal on his offense. He has it on his defense, and I fight it occasionally. So I have seen this in, again, Burial is not a very commonly built up hero by many people because, again, he comes down the priority list in terms of Celestial Hypogeans. But at Mythic Plus, he is still very strong, and he has very unique features like the summons, and he does well in zoo type comps along with Florabelle, and that is what one of my guildmates is running in a Supreme Arena defense, who is rank 1 and always holding rank 1, but that's also probably for other reasons, being the fact that all of his heroes are very highly ascended into Paragons 2s and 3s. Either way, Burial is a Celestial Hypogean. He is great. However, I still consider him S tier because he is mainly a PvP hero. And if a hero is purely PvP, and even that are not the top tier PvP, I'm gonna put them in S tier. If they're only PvP and they're the absolute top of the PvP tier, which I kind of consider Scarlita to be, that's why she's S+, and also she has some PvE uses. Okay, Rainier. So Rainier I'm gonna put, and I'm actually trying to order the heroes on the tier, so it's not just purely going to be all heroes are equal in the same tier. I'm going to try to order them in terms of priority so you can actually get some more detailed breakdown. Rainier at Mythic Plus is going to be your best debuffer for almost every Dream Realm boss. In the new season, he isn't as essential because you also sometimes have some survivability issues, so running more protection is sometimes better than actually running Rainier in your team. But for the most part, he is going to increase your damage in the Dream Realm by 1 to 2 million, and he just has his most unique effect of increasing the damage the opponent receives by 25%, which no other hero can do. And so for that reason, I still think he is a top priority for Mythic Plus. You need to score well in Dream Realm to earn Temporal Essence, which is the main resource to upgrade the power of your heroes. And so he should be your first Celestial Hypogean. Even though Scarlita is amazing, I still think Rainier should be the first. Rainier in PvP is great on offense, he's not so good on defense, but you're mainly using him for that very unique PvE element. And because we're doing all the Celestial Hypogeans, let's finish it with Freyasto. So Freyasto I'm also going to put in the S+ tier, and I wasn't sure about this until more recently, but Freyasto is used in a lot of top Dream Realm team comps to increase your damage by, again, another 1 or 2 billion on top of the damage output that Rainier can deal. Because he will give bonus energy regeneration to one of your carriers in the back. He also has 2 of him and his illusion, both dealing damage to the boss. And he's also the key hero used in pushing AFK stages at a deficit in the new season. He does it better than any other hero. So for these reasons, I do think Freyasto deserves S+, because in PvE content for AFK stages, he's amazing. In Dream Realm, he increases your damage, so he's even better than Scarlita for the most part in all considered together Dream Realm bosses. And for PvP, he is also useful. He's definitely a good option for PvP, but I don't see him as much as Scarlita. It may be because more people have Scarlita built up than Freyasto, but I do still think Scarlita is a bit stronger than Freyasto in PvP. Either way, Freyasto is an S+ hero and would be coming third in the line here in order of priority, or even before Scarlita, it's up to you. But I think Scarlita is kind of a must build. Okay, now I'm going to try to go a bit quicker through the heroes because otherwise we're going to be here all day. Like, I'm trying to go in depth with the discussion, but we need to cover a lot of heroes. So Cassidy I'm going to put in the B rank. I previously thought she was going to be key for the end stage, like endless boss mode of the Dream Realm, and she was before the new season, but after the new season you're having survivability issues sometimes. It's best to just run 2 key damage heroes like Corian and Merrily. You don't have space to run a third, being Cassidy, and so she's not used too much in Dream Realm content, and that was really her main area that she would set herself apart, because she's not great in PvP and she's not great in AFK stages, so it was that additional damage she can contribute in the Dream Realm, which they're better hero options than her, sadly, as of right now, but she still may have a place in the future in certain boss fights, so B is fine. Definitely not a C tier hero, but not a priority in my opinion. Vala I'm going to put in A tier, and some people might disagree with this. Vala is, in my opinion, she can be used in PvE content, and I did use her to get one of the, actually the top ranking score in the Primal Lord Alpha Bearer boss before the new season. But after the new season, and if you have, for example, Corian and Merrily built up, and even Odie, then Vala is not going to be a good option in almost any Dream Realm or boss team. Other than maybe the Primal Lord Alpha Bear, like we mentioned, and maybe even Lone Gaze. I don't think she's the best there, but in Primal Lord Alpha Bear below 50% health, I think she was the best option. But apart from that, so basically it leaves her as a PvP hero. I know before the new season, if you started early and you had her, you could use her to push AFK stages, but in the new season, there are better teams to be pushing AFK stages, so her main use is PvP. And PvP, she is good, and she can be used on defense effectively, but she's better used on offense. And just by Vala being in the game, it causes people to build defenses around countering Vala, because they try to put their carry in a position that cannot be marked by the enemy Vala. So I do think she's great, and she's a PvP key hero. However, in my opinion, I'm trying to save the S tier for like the absolutely must-haves on your account, or like S+ is really the absolutely must-haves, but S is like close, right below that, and A is kind of really good, but not a make or break hero to have on your account. So it's arguable. And if there was a tier between A and S, I would put Valid there. But I think she's going to be top of the A tier for right now, most likely. Okay, Atlanta I'm going to put in C tier. She's not used for pretty much anything other than maybe some Druid's Trials floor, which you can use other heroes to clear there. So I'm not going to talk much more about her. Temesia I'm going to put in A tier below Vala. Temesia is... she can be used in PvP if she's highly ascended early on compared to your other heroes. And she's fine there, but her main way to shine is the Necro Drake and Dream Realm boss, where she is, in the current Endless Mode maximum damage team, she is a part of it. And that is a core thing. If any hero is a part of a maximum damage Endless Boss Mode Dream Realm team in the new season, and previously even in the before the new season, then they have to be an A tier at least, because that means there is a point of building them up to increase your Dream Realm score. And that is just enough for them to deserve A tier in my opinion, because Dream Realm is so important. The higher you can score there, the more temporal essence you earn, the more you can like buff up your account. So I'm going to put an A for there. Brutus I'm going to put in the A tier. He has some PvP uses. I've used him on my Supreme Arena defense. Other people have used him as well. He also has great AFK stage pushing power. And he's an overall just solid, strong hero option. Does well into the Mauler faction. But he has no real Dream Realm use, of course. He's a PvP and AFK stage pushing hero. So he's only in the A tier. I don't think he belongs in S tier, but I don't think he belongs in B. I think he's better than B. Dumont I'm going to put in B tier. Previously he was C tier, but with the new season he has a seasonal skill like Lucius, which will give you a haste and damage buff if your team are alive at 10 and 40 seconds respectively over the course of the battle, and that makes him really used in a lot of AFK stages, and people even use him on Supreme Arena defenses. So I'm going to put him at B tier, maybe even higher than Cassidy for this new season. Yeah. Okay, we come to Smokey. Smokey is going to be our first non-celestial Hypergean S plus hero. He is just one of the best heroes in the game. It's like, it's been a funny story with like Smokey. We always knew he was good, even when the game first launched. But he is honestly, like, on almost every Dream Realm team, he is a core part. His Mythic Plus increases your damage on Primal Lords, the Crystal Beetle, and then also many Dream Realm bosses you fight. Best attack buff and sustain for your team. Most healing out of any other hero, and gives the haste buff. He is like an S plus hero, no question about it. Reese is going to be B tier because I think he's better than C tier, because some people use him on Supreme and non-seasonal arena defense, and he's pretty effective there. He's not a terrible option. He deals good damage, he can be controlled, I think in the first 8 seconds of the fight, so I think I'm going to put him in B tier, but he doesn't really have much PvE use. Shakir we're going to put in A tier because he is good on PvP, Supreme Arena defense, even in non-seasonal arena you can use him. He's good on offense as well, and he has uses in the Dream Realm. Primarily the Lone Gaze boss if you don't have other options, or the Snow Stomper boss. He is a good option, almost the best. So we're going to put him in the A tier for that reason, and probably I would prioritize him above the Brutus, because Brutus is good for AFK stages, but he can work with only one copy, and in PvP Shakir kinda does better than Brutus in my opinion, so Shakir should take the higher spot. Maybe even higher than Temesia, I'm not sure about that, but they're pretty close neck and neck. Haywin I'm going to put as an S tier. Haywin is very strong. She's one of the best healers in the game because she provides such a damage reduction buff once she has her Mythic Plus, when she casts her heal. So a lot of people in higher AFK stages are going to be using her to basically protect your team and allow your carry to get off the damage to kill the enemy. Usually in a Smokey team, where Smokey's blue aura then finishes off the entire enemy team. So she's good for that. She is very good in PvP as well. She is a core part of many Supreme Arena defenses, and if you have her at Mythic Plus, I think you can always fit her into one of your Supreme Arena defenses and make it better. She is one of the best forms of sustain protection for your team, and so I really like her. Very solid hero, but not S plus tier, because not an absolute must-have, but she is really good. Iron is going to be in the S plus tier behind Smokey. Smokey is still, in my opinion, more important than Iron, but Iron is very, very important. So Iron is the key for almost every AFK stage lowest power formation team. and he is key for PvP. He is one of the best PvP heroes, and it's important to focus PvP to some extent so that you can rank high in the non-seasonal arena, and Iron does one of the best in the non-seasonal arena. He's usually a part of like 80% of the top 10 defenses in non-seasonal arena, and in Supreme Arena, every single person will be running Iron somewhere. So Iron is a key PvP hero. His crowd control is too strong compared to any other hero, and so he deserves that S+ spot. Granny we're going to be putting in S tier as well, along with Haywen. Granny is an amazing tank, offers a lot of control, damage, and also incredible tankiness. She is the tankiest hero to actually take down. Like, Doran has a multiple lives, so like Doran can be considered the overall tankiest hero, but or maybe Fresto, but Granny, to kill her first life is one of the hardest because she gets like a massive tanking buff when she drops below 50% health. She is a really good hero. She synergizes really well in the Wilder faction with other strong heroes like Haywen. Keeping the Granny alive is an almost impenetrable front line that you can then have your carriers get off their damage in the back. Brian, I'm going to put in the... I'm going to put him in the C tier. I don't have much experience with him, but honestly, he's very rarely seen. Some people use him on their arena defense and maybe even on offense, but I don't think he's one of the best options. He could be in B tier. He could be in C tier. I don't have enough, honestly, experience with him. I can put him in the B tier at the end of B tier for right now. But I, again, would not recommend him. There's so many other key Wilder S-level heroes to be focusing that there's really no place to be ever putting Brian as a priority, in my opinion. Unless you really like him, then you can go for whichever hero you want, but this is just based on usability and overall like optimizing the efficiency of your account. Thorin is probably going to go before Smokey. Thorin is one of the best heroes in the game. He's used in many Dream Realm bosses in order to increase your damage. He is like a mini Rainier in that he gives a 17% increased damage received by the boss, whereas Rainier gives a 25%. And Thorin has multiple lives. He has a soul pack to protect one of your backline allies, which is really useful for like the Lone Gaze Primal Lord and also the Dream Realm boss. And so he just has so much in his kit, and he is one of the best PvP heroes in the game. Again, if someone has a Thorin built at Mythic Plus, they will be on one of their Supreme Arena defenses and probably even on their non-seasonal defense. It's either Thorin or Granny, which people are running on their non-seasonal defense as their tank. So Thorin is amazing, definitely S+. Igor, this is up to preference, and I'm like, what I'm doing with the A tier is I'm doing heroes which are not must-haves, but they are really, really good to have on your account. Igor, I don't think fits that description. He is good, and I'm going to put him top of B tier for right now, but he is not a must-have. The only major way I think Igor shines is in a Graveborn Stroll type defense, and then he's very effective. Or like even like we were mentioning with Burial, the Zoo comp with Florabelle, Burial, and Igor to Stroll is insanely strong. But he basically is just another component of an archetype of a defense, which is not even a needed defense. Like, there are other defensive options other than a Graveborn Stroll. But if you're prioritizing Graveborn Stroll defense for your account, then you would probably have him higher, probably in the A tier. But I don't think he deserves the A tier in my opinion, so I'm putting him in the B tier, top of the B tier. Cece, I'm going to put top, second of the B tier. She is very good in when you first start out in the game. Before you have her at Mythic Plus and other heroes at Mythic Plus, she is going to be one of the best heroes. But once you have heroes at Mythic Plus, she falls off. She is not as effective and useful as she used to be in the early game. And you can again use her on your seasonal defense or non-seasonal defense, on PvP and even on offense, and she is fine. She's not bad, but she is not one of the best options or must-haves or even really a big power boost for your account. And you will replace her when you have better options, so that's why B tier. Okay, so Valen is C tier because he's not really needed for anything. Mariel as well, C tier, not needed for anything. And Marilee is going to be S+ tier because... And let's just get it out of the way right now. All the Dream Realm damage dealers, these are going to be S+ tier in order of priority. It's going to be Marilee, OD, and Corrin in my opinion. Although maybe OD can be before Marilee, it's up to you. But I'm going to have it positioned like this. So Marilee, Corrin, and OD, these heroes are going to be the first heroes you want to get to Mythic Plus on your account, because that is when your damage is going to ramp up massively in the Dream Realm. The first way of increasing your damage in the Dream Realm is getting Mythic Plus on Merrily, Corin, and Odie, because even though you're usually not running 3 damage deals all in one Dream Realm boss, you're going to be running 2. And it depends, depending on which Dream Realm boss, certain damage deals do better. So you're going to need all 3 of them built up. You can't just get away with building 2. In the early stages, before the Endless mode, OD does better, and in the later stages, in Endless mode, the true damage dealers, Corin and Merrily, do better. But they are the top priority for Mythic Plus on your account. If you just forget anything, you can forget everything in this tier list, but focus Merrily, Corin, and OD. That's a top priority. And really, please also do Thorin and Smokey, because you're really going to regret it later on if they're not Mythic Plus. All the other heroes, okay, Rainier also, but all the other heroes are somewhat replaceable. I should put Rainier up here. Because, okay, if it's only a PvP or AFK stage pushing hero, it's not essential because you can push AFK stages once you level up with pretty much any team. So that doesn't matter. And in PvP, there are always alternatives, but still PvP is important to focus certain heroes. Okay, so we have Lucius. Lucius is going to be A tier in the new season because he's actually very effective in Dream Realm bosses, and A tier is really about heroes which mainly only shine in Dream Realm, and he's also good in battle drills. Apart from that, he's not usable, but you could use him in PvP. Even Supreme Arena defense, I think he would be fine. He's just not a top tier option. Faye and Walker and Seth and Citrana, I'm all going to be putting in the C tier. I'm not going to talk much more about it. Like, every hero can do well. Like, of course, if you Supreme Plus it, plus 10 exclusive equipment, you can build a team around them and do well. But something has to go in the C tier. And honestly, I think I'm moving Brian down to the C tier. This is probably, these are heroes which you do not need on your account. Every hero is useful in some way, and you can build them up and they can do well. However, these are not going to be at all priorities, and it's just about if you like the design of the hero, you like the unique factor of the hero or the unique skills they have, then yeah, you can build them up, but they are the lowest priority of everything. Kruger A tier because Dream Realm, key debuffer. He doesn't do anything other than Dream Realm, but again, if you're gonna have like Dream Realm heroes which are must-haves for your maximum damage team, they have to come at least in A tier, right? Like Tamesia, Shakir, even if they're usable nowhere else. So I think I'm gonna put them even before Brutus because that Dream Realm performance is really important. I'm still putting Vala at beginning of A tier because, like I said, she's between that A and S tier. I really want another tier here. Maybe finally we will add another tier because there's another hero I also want to put between the A and S tier. Coco is a S tier. Even before Granny, yeah, S tier. She's not S plus because she's not absolutely essential, but she will make your life a lot easier. Like with one copy or a few copies, she can work. Mythic Plus is really good for her, getting that extra shielding. She can allow you to survive longer in the Dream Realm to get off more damage, and there are a lot of bosses because in the new season, you're kind of at a low level in the Endless mode that you sometimes need to run Coco for maximum damage on your teams, even when you get to the maximum level 511. So yeah, S tier for Coco, in my opinion, definitely. And top of the S tier. Antandra, I'm going to be putting at top of B tier. Yeah, she is a hero which is good for AFK stages. You can even use her in the Supreme Arena on your defense. But other than that, she doesn't really have any other use, so that is not good enough to put her into the A tier. Arden, now this is the thing. Arden, Damien, where to put them? I think I have to put them in the S plus tier. It's either the S tier or the S plus tier. If there were a tier between S and S plus, I would put them there because Arden and Damien are not absolutely must-haves on your account. Okay, we can actually do it like this. We can move them behind the Rainier. They're not must-haves, but they are really, really good options. And because Damien is one of the best supports for PvP as well as even AFK stage pushing, Arden for AFK stage pushing and PvP. In Supreme Arena, people are using Arden all over the place because in crowd control comps he gets off so much damage, and certain raging dual effects really benefit from having Arden on their team. So I think he should be in the S plus tier and a major priority. And again, you have 2 slots open on your Wilder wish list for A-level heroes, so just put these 2 on there and it's done. Laika, I'm going to be putting in the B tier. towards the end because she's not really needed for anything. I mean, if you have a diurnal team and you need the haste buff from Leica, then that's really a situation where she is one of the best in slot heroes, but that's purely PvP, purely centered around the diurnal team. Other than that, she is not a top hero, so I'm going to be putting her in B tier. Kafra C tier, and I'm not going to mention more about that. He's just not, I haven't seen him used anywhere. Nero top of C tier because he can be used in a Graveborn Stroll team, but that's pretty much it, and he's not even sometimes the best option there. Sylvina, end of A tier. Sylvina is a very good PvP arena offense option. She deals massive damage, can nuke a target at the beginning of the fight, and that gives you a huge advantage. So a lot of people use Sylvina +5 or even +10 exclusive equipment in Supreme Arena, and they have great success with it, along with Vala. If you're using them both in the same team, they are a major damage threat. A lot of people even run Vala plus Sylvina on their defense or even non-seasonal arena defense, and it is very threatening. So they're great. Parissa, I'm going to put in the B tier. We can put it after Cecia. So Parissa is great for battle drills. She is an AoE nuking mage hero, so she is useful. She can even be used in PvP content, but apart from that, she doesn't really have many uses. In PvP, she's not top tier at all. She's not one of the best options in my opinion. There are better options out there like Arden, and she is one of the best in battle drills. She gets one of the highest damage output, so don't miss out on using Parissa in battle drills. Salazar, I'm going to be putting in the C tier, around about here. He's even less important than Nero. And Viperion, honestly, I don't know where to put him. He has battle drills, some damage contribution. We can put him in the B tier, but honestly, you can really decide Nero or Viperion which A-level Graveborn you would like to focus. Okay, so Carolina. Carolina, I'm also going to be putting in the S+ tier. She can be considered the S tier, but I think, like, when you're talking about the best non-seasonal heroes to be running in arena, which is an important mode we're talking about, I think Carolina is one of the best. If you're using the Arden Iron Nuke team with Carolina, it is a very solid team. It can allow you to get into the top 20 champion, and even some people a top 5 champion. So she is one of the best damage dealers in the game. She is a very strong mage. She deserves to be in the S+ tier, and that's why we put her there. Okay, now Floribel. This is where I want to add another tier, but oh wait, this is not what I wanted to do. We have to move this back. Okay, yeah, we won't add another tier, but Floribella and Vala, both of these can be S, they can be considered A, but I'm going to talk about my personal opinion. I'm going to put Floribella S and Vala at A. I have both of them at +10 exclusive equipment, Supreme Plus, and well, my Floribella is Paragon 1. But for my defenses, I prefer to have Floribella on defense. I feel like Vala is counterable when you place her on Supreme Arena defense, and so I don't like using her as much, but definitely there are team comps you can build around her if you have multi-threats that the opponent can't like protect against everything, like Sylvina plus Vala, for example. And it can be very effective. So it does depend on your account how high you value these heroes, but if I had to decide Floribel versus Vala, I prefer Floribel on defense, and I prefer Floribel on offense because you can build a team that has like survivability like Granny, Haywind, Floribel. And it's very difficult for the opponent to get through you, and then Floribel will just get off her damage throughout the entire fight. If you need to nuke someone at the beginning of the fight, then Vala is the best option and better than Floribel, of course, but because she has that assassin role, in my opinion, there's less flexibility with her. But it's up to your preference, and this is just mine. Rowan, we're going to put in the S tier. We use him in almost always, usually in a Supreme Arena defense, Rowan will be run in one or the other defense. He has energy regeneration for your team to allow you to ultimate first, and he has those potions to make an already unkillable tank even more unkillable. And now we have Elsa. So Elsa I'm going to put in the A tier, probably behind Temesia. So Elsa, so far, it seems like she has PvP uses on defense. She has some AFK stage usage, but not great. And Dream Realm, she is not usually one of the best options. So for those reasons, she's an overall solid hero, definitely deserving A tier, along with like Brutus in my opinion. Maybe, probably better than Brutus like we have here, but she's not an essential hero because not having her on your account is not going to hinder your progress. So that's why I have her in the A tier. And then finally we have Soren. So Soren, I have seen, I think he's not C tier. He's definitely more usable than C tier, but I would not put him above B tier. He's kind of like, he's a hero which is fine, but doesn't do anything important or special. So the mainly only place I see him, sometimes in Supreme Arena, but very rarely, like defense, and then sometimes in certain AFK stages, but very few, to be honest. So he barely makes it up into the B tier. I don't think he's much, yeah, I think he's slightly better than the C tier, more usable. And then finally, there's no Elmis here. So where would we put Elmis? So we haven't had so much testing with Elmis yet, and I haven't even summoned Elmis on my account. But based on his skills and when I reviewed him, I thought he seemed like a very solid hero to be included in like Wilder teams or crowd control Iron Nuke teams. So I would put him in the A tier. I don't think he's a must-have by any means, and he would mainly be used for PvP content, maybe some AFK stages. I have seen him in Dura's Trials some floors. So I would put him probably end of A tier after Sylvina for right now. I think that's a pretty safe spot to put him. So the only thing I'm still just up in the air about is the Vala placement, and I can totally understand if you would want to move Vala up to S. But in my opinion, this is my overall tier list in terms of their effectiveness for me. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope it was helpful. If you are newer to AFK Journey, and you can always let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below if you agree with them or not. But I thought this was a really fun idea for a video because we've never made our own tier list before. And this was a really good tier list maker on this website, which I'll link in the description. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe because we upload daily AFK Journey videos with updates and guides to help your progression and keep you up to date with the latest information. But that's going to be it for this one, and I hope you enjoyed it. And until the next one, everyone, peace out for now. And thank you for watching.